Why Nepal was never colonized, a fascinating tale of courage, strategy, and mountains. In the grand history of South Asia, there is a small yet proud nation that stands out like a lion among the lambs. Nepal. Surrounded by mighty powers like India and China, and during the colonial era, encircled by the British Empire, Nepal achieved something remarkable. It was never colonized. But why? What was so special about this Himalayan nation? Even the powerful British Raj, which colonized India, Burma, and vast parts of Asia and Africa, decided not to take over Nepal? The answer is not simple. It's a gripping story of military bravery, political wisdom, geographic advantage, and sheer determination. Let's go back in time and uncover the untold story of why Nepal was never colonized. Imagine being a British general planning an invasion. You look at the map and see Nepal, a rugged, mountainous land. Towering above the plains of India, the Himalayas, including the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, form a natural fortress. These mountains aren't just scenic wonders, they are nearly impenetrable. The terrain is harsh, the climate unpredictable, and the passes narrow. Armies could get stuck for weeks or even months, facing snowstorms, avalanches, and altitude sickness. In short, invading Nepal meant signing up for a nightmare. But geography alone wasn't enough to keep empire away. So let's dive into what really made Nepal so resilient. The brave Gurkhas, fearless warriors of the hills. In the late 18th century, Nepal was united under the leadership of Prithvi Narayan Shah, a visionary king who saw the strength in unity. He brought together the various smaller kingdoms and tribes to form a single, stronger Nepal. One of the greatest assets of this new Nepal was its army, especially the Gurkhas, legendary soldiers known for their courage, skill, and unwavering loyalty. By the early 1800s, Nepal was expanding its territory, clashing with neighboring regions, including British-controlled territories in India. This led to the Anglo-Nepalese War, 1814–1816, a critical turning point in history. The British East India Company was confident. After all, they had already conquered huge parts of India. But when they went to war with Nepal, they got a shock. The Gurkhas fought fiercely, using their knowledge of the terrain, hit-and-run tactics, and their famous curved knives, the khukuris. Despite being outnumbered and less equipped, the Nepali army managed to inflict heavy casualties on the British. The war ended with the Treaty of Sugauli in 1816. Nepal lost some land but retained its sovereignty. The British were impressed, even in awe, of the Gurkhas. Rather than trying to conquer Nepal completely, the British made a bold decision. They recruited the Gurkhas into their own army. This was a masterstroke. Instead of making Nepal an enemy, the British made it an ally, and got some of the fiercest warriors in Asia on their side. Nepal's leaders were not just brave, they were politically smart. They knew that directly fighting the British again would be too risky. So, they chose a clever path: diplomatic neutrality. Nepal maintained a careful balance, staying friendly with the British while keeping its independence. The kings and prime ministers of Nepal allowed limited British influence, but never gave up control. They avoided giving the British any excuse to invade. No rebellions, no major conflicts. Just quiet cooperation, and fierce independence when it mattered. The buffer stayed between two giants. Geography played another role. Nepal lies between India, controlled by the British, and Tibet, China. For the British, Nepal became a useful buffer state, a zone that separated their empire from possible Chinese influence. Colonizing Nepal might have provoked China or led to long-term military commitments in the Himalayas, something the British weren't eager to deal with. So instead, they respected Nepal's sovereignty, traded with it, and continued to recruit Gurkhas into the British army. Even today, the world remembers the bravery of the Gurkhas and the wisdom of Nepal's leaders. The story of Nepal is not just about avoiding colonization, it's about the power of unity, the value of smart leadership, and the strength of national identity. While the rest of South Asia was swallowed by empire, Nepal stood tall, guarded by mountains, guided by wisdom, and defended by warriors. Who would rather die than surrender? This is not just history, this is inspiration, this is Nepal. Dear friends, I need your support to grow my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.